knocked on my door at 1 in the morning. To cuddle? By Shot Girl. Cherry stared up at his ceiling, unable to sleep. It wasn't unusual. He spent most nights like this, the simple comfort of slumber somehow eluding him. Beside him on the floor, next to his nightstand, Carla was still playing soothing music, a song that reminded him of simpler times. But even his favorite lullaby did nothing to calm him. He wasn't thinking about S, or his very important client's commission that was scheduled for pickup tomorrow, nor were his thoughts occupied with any particular stresses in his life. It was just white noise, a buzzing in his head that wouldn't quit. He was tired, his eyes were sore, but sleep still wouldn't come. Carla, he spoke into the darkness, blinking against his board's soft magenta glow that grew as she paused the music. Yes, master? What time is it? The current time is 01:15 hours, master, she replied. There are 4 hours and 45 minutes remaining until your scheduled alarm. He closed his eyes, listening to her soft hum. It is possible to get 3 hours and 23 minutes of light sleep, 52 minutes of deep sleep, and 27 minutes of REM sleep based on your history. Thank you, Carla. That will do. Cherry sighed and threw an arm over his face. It was already too late to take any medicine. Not that it ever did him any good. So, he supposed he'd just wait until morning, or sleep found him. However, before Cherry could resign himself, Carla made a cheery beeping sound. Master, you have a new message. Shall I read it for you? Cherry blinked. There was only one person who would send him a text this late. Go ahead. It was always amusing to hear Joe's words in Carla's soft, robotic voice. Hey, Kaoru. I know you're awake. Let me in. At that, Cherry turned towards Carla, his eyes wide. He couldn't be serious. Master, there is motion at the front door. Of course he was. Thank you, Carla. I'll answer. With a sigh, Cherry got out of bed, tugging on the cotton yukata, and made his way down the hall to let in the guest. Kojiro, what the hell? He said, the minute he opened the door. The other seemed unfazed, a cheeky little grin on his face as he leaned against the door frame. Fancy a cuddle, Kaoru? He was clad in one of his usual loud button-ups and cargo shorts. He smelt like cheap perfume and something sickeningly sweet. Cherry ignored it. You knocked on my door at 1 in the morning? To cuddle? He questioned instead, quirking an eyebrow. He crossed his arms over his chest. Did your date kick you out early? He added. First of all, I wasn't on a date, Joe replied, holding up a finger. It was a party, he clarified. And secondly, you know I don't go home with any of my fangirls. No, you just take them out to dinner, Cherry supplied flatly. Hey, who doesn't like to be wined and dined? Joe offered with a shrug. Besides, it lets me scope out the competition while enjoying some very cute and giggly company. He flashed another grin. 2 birds, Kaoru. Cherry rolled his eyes. So, why come here? Because I knew you'd be up, Joe answered simply. It's not that late, but you've got that big client of yours coming later today, right? Cherry opened his mouth and then wet his lips. I'm surprised you remembered that. Again, Joe shrugged. I don't always tune out when you're talking. He shoved his hands into his pockets. So, are you gonna let me in or what? It's kinda chilly out here. This wasn't unusual either. Joe knew that Cherry had trouble sleeping. Sometimes he'd just show up after work, and they'd talk, or he'd make him something to eat. But he knew Cherry had an early morning, so he... Fine, Cherry finally answered, stepping to the side to allow Joe entry. But you're taking a shower first. You reek. Joe snorted. Yeah, a girl spilled her drink on me. I thought it got only on my shoes, but... We're wasting time, Cherry cut him off, and started walking towards his bedroom. Ooh, getting right down to it, Joe noted, before kicking off his shoes and jogging to catch up. I like a man who knows what he wants. Shower, Cherry said, jabbing him in the chest with his finger. I'll be in bed. Joe smiled softly then. Oh, okay. Then he ducked down and pressed a kiss to Cherry's forehead, whispering, "I won't be long," before he disappeared into the bathroom. Cherry stood there for a moment, his cheeks warm. "That Kojiro," he grumbled, then pattered down the hall and into his bedroom. He got back into bed and turned on his side. He could hear the spray of the shower, and it calmed him. "Carla, add rain sounds to tomorrow night's playlist," he said, while he was thinking of it. "Yes, master." It was nice, having someone else in this big, otherwise empty house. Somehow, Joe always knew when to show up. Cherry let his mind wander as he closed his eyes, hoping to drift off, but he came back to himself when the mattress dipped behind him. "I hope I didn't wake you," Joe rasped. "You didn't," Cherry replied. "Did you dry your hair properly?" "Yes, Mom," Joe answered, and then yelped when Cherry kicked him in the shin. I did, he said with a hiss. "Now, let's hurry up and get some sleep before your alarm goes off." "That's what I was trying to do before you showed up on my doorstep," Cherry spat, albeit groggily. "Yeah?" Joe asked, sliding closer and wrapping an arm around Cherry's middle. He pressed his broad chest against his back. He was warm. Joe was always so damn warm and comfortable. "And how is that going for you?" Cherry groaned. Joe would be perfect if he just kept that damn idiotic mouth of his shut. And that's when Cherry realized he was drifting off to sleep, because he would never put the words Joe and perfect in the same sentence otherwise. He mumbled something incoherent in response, and felt more than heard Joe's chuckle rumble in that warm chest of his. "Good night, Kaoru. Sweet dreams." And surprisingly, they were.